You don't realize your relationship is over when the fighting starts. That's what people think. They think it ends with a big moment, a breakup, a betrayal, something obvious. But most relationships don't end like that. They end quietly. You realize it's over when the silence feels normal, when there's no urgency to fix things anymore, no need to explain how you feel. You just stop. You stop bringing things up. You stop asking for clarity. You stop expecting to be understood. And at first, it feels like peace. Like finally, there's no conflict, no tension, no emotional chaos. But it's not peace, it's disconnection. Because real peace doesn't come from holding everything in, it doesn't come from shrinking yourself just to keep things calm. That's not peace. That's self abandonment. And you don't even notice it happening at first. It's subtle. You start thinking things like, it's not worth it. I don't want to argue. I'll just deal with it. So you say less, you react less, you care less. Not because you don't love them, but because you're exhausted. Because at some point you realized you're the only one trying to hold everything together. You're the one thinking about the relationship. You're the one adjusting, the one over explaining, the one making sure things don't fall apart. And that kind of pressure, it changes you. You go from being open to being careful, from expressive to quiet, from connected to distant. And one day, you notice something that you can't ignore. You can sit right next to them and feel completely alone. No fight, no obvious problem. Just this heavy, quiet distance, like you're in the same space but not in the same relationship. And that's when it hits you, not all at once, but slowly. You start realizing, you don't feel safe being yourself anymore. Not emotionally safe. You second guess what you say. You hold back what you feel. You edit yourself just to avoid tension. And that's a turning point. Because the moment you don't feel safe to be yourself in a relationship, something has already broken. And most people don't leave right then. They stay. They stay in that in between space, half connected, half detached, still physically there, but emotionally pulling away, hoping something changes, hoping maybe it's just a phase. Maybe it'll go back to how it used to be, but deep down, you already felt the shift. You already know something is off. And the hardest part, there's no clear moment to point to, no big reason you can explain to people. Just a feeling, a quiet knowing that you're not in the same relationship anymore, even if you're still with the same person. And once you feel that, it's really hard to unsee it because now you're aware of the distance, aware of the imbalance, aware of how much of yourself you've been giving up just to stay. And that awareness, it changes everything. Because now the question isn't, can this be fixed? It becomes, how long am I going to ignore what I already feel? And that's the moment most people try to avoid because it forces you to be honest, not about them, about yourself, about what you've been tolerating, what you've been carrying, what you've been pretending doesn't affect you. And that truth, it's uncomfortable, but it's also the beginning of something real. Because the moment you see it clearly, you finally have a choice not to fix them, not to force the relationship, but to decide what you're willing to keep losing just to hold on to something that already feels gone.